just a couple of little updates. I've got a stinking cold, you'll have to bear with me. First of all, I actually got rid of 32 babies, baby guppies and platies. I took them to the local fish store and got some bits and pieces. They wouldn't give me any cash, which is understandable, but they did give me some foods and some other bits and pieces. Now, I want to talk about filtration. So I was asked a couple of questions. I'm just going to go through those first. The first question I was asked was, how does I keep my water so clean? It's all about balance. Make sure your nitrates, nitrates, everything's low. My nitrates hover around 40 parts per million purely because my tap water is about that. So I do tend to filter rainwater now through an RO membrane. But the main thing I do is the filtration. I've upgraded from the 306 to a 406 on this particular tank, which gives me extra media basket. Now, what I do is, the first thing you need to do is go through sponge, then your biological, then your mechanical, then your chemical, sorry. So, first of all, sponges, that gets rid of all the debris. So you've got clean water going to your biological media, so that can settle out anything else, that's good. And if you do want chemical, now the only time you really need chemical is in medicating. You know, you get all these different potions you put in there to lower this, do that, do that. All you need is a good dechlorinator, and as you can see, Bob's your uncle. Now, as you can see in here, we've got a few different generations of fish in here. And if you look, there's some ottos there, cardinals, and there's a couple of hybrids. I'm going to try and look for them. See, that's an Endler there, but he's got one of the yellow guppy females pregnant, and as you can see, his babies are actually guppy Endler hybrids. And I've done this before, and to be fair, they will grow really well and last a long time. There's an Amano there. He's having a good old munch. This is going nice. Cleaned out the sponge filter today. Yes, I did do the mod on it to make it a bit quieter, which is basically putting air stone in the bottom. That's very simple. I will show you how to do that. I have got another sponge filter in the drawer, so I will be using that, and I will be showing you how to do it. Your Nubius is doing really well, and if you look there, that is a baby Amano. The big ones laid some eggs, took the eggs out, put them into a smaller tank, and as they hatch, I basically changed the water parameters to more sort of salty, brackish type of water, and I got 2 babies out of it, which is quite good considering. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is substrates. On my other tank, this one, as you know, I've put in quite a deep bed there. I didn't do the same with this one, but that's because I've got a big external filter on it. Now, external filters, really, you don't really need to clean them until that flow goes down. And I probably would say 3 times, maybe 4 times a year, you should give it a good clean. Everything in old tank water. When you do your water change, just give it a rinse out. You don't need to really rinse it out too much. I normally do the foams probably 4 times a year. I do the biological media twice a year. However, I do, as you know, have that sponge filter. I think that's very important, that sponge filter. It adds a lot of flow to the Roma, because we both know the input and output are both over there. So this kind of makes up for it. Now, in the not too distant futures, we will be getting some swordtails. A friend of mine shutting his tank down. Now, the other thing is rams. I believe they're either shell dwellers or rams. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do on parameters with this. They have a slightly different water makeup, so I will be dealing with that. There's my oldest guppy there. If you notice the ridge in their back, that's old age. That's quite normal. And I do put these little white blocks in there, which are good for both shrimp and for the fish. They're calcium blocks basically. And I believe some other changes will be coming, but as you can see, there's still a little fry in there. It's about 8 generations now. I've got some assassin snails as well, and some nearite snails. And I believe that every tank should have a mono shrimp, nearite snails, depending on your size of your fish, purely because in this tank they won't eat them. And don't forget, if it doesn't fit in their mouth, the fish won't eat it or can't eat it. But we'll see how that goes on. I want some ideas of what else you want me to put in this tank. I've actually got a week off coming up where I'm going to be doing a lot of overhauls in here, a lot of cutbacks, changing up some stuff. I may even go with a plant, a full-on plant system. I never actually wanted to keep this tank, to be fair, but you know, I do love this. I mean, look at these platies, they're just loving it. There's a couple of big berthas there, they love it. And the mono shrimp, as you can see, they're doing really well. One of them is egg bound again, so I might have to take them out. And look, she's flowering up like over there, a bit of wood in there. I'm actually thinking of doing a black water tank as well. I'd like your ideas on that. Listen, if you are changing the lights on any aquarium, please make sure it's IP67 rated. I did have a comment that the lights on eBay, particular listing, really cheap, they were great. I've since had a conversation with said person that were electrocuted by said lights because they weren't good for aquariums, even though they said they were cheap, Japanese or Chinese or Korean or whatever import they were. They didn't have to go through the same sort of rigmarole that we have, so please be careful, guys. Also, foods. As you can see, I've put in some waivers in there. Now, I'm not really keen on these. I'm a pellet man or frozen. I do have frozen both meat and veg frozen. You can get them really cheap now. You can get 5 for I think 12 quid, and in that 5, one packet will last you 1 month. So you know, if you wake it up, and I mean, a lot of the flake and that, all it does is really dirty your water, because it breaks down, and a lot of it's got ash in it and stuff like that. So comments please. We do have some changes coming, as I say. We've changed up the 57 litre or the 50 litre, and we're going to have some changes going on in here, guys. Anyway, very sick Alan here, going off now. You take care.